So let us come together in that quiet, steady place, remembering that every thought we send out, every thought we hold in the heart, reverberates out into the world. How great a responsibility do we all hold for the quality of our thought, the beauty of our thought, the sense of upliftment and happiness, regardless of what the world is doing. So let us come together. Let us remember before God the great need of all humankind, that we may pray to God, and so we make quiet the fretful mind of every day, and open our hearts to the Father, Mother, God, to Christ the Son, to the Holy Trinity of wisdom, love, and power. In the holy name of Christ, by the Christ light in the hearts of all people, we call upon the great angels of Christ. We feel their presence and their power, and we attune ourselves to the prayers of all men and women of good will. And being thus prepared and ready before God, with all the will of our minds, with all the love of our deepest hearts, we send forth the light. We send it forth as a great star of light, a blazing star, withstanding, overcoming all evil, triumphant over darkness and death, a star of the Christ light. By all the power of Christ within our hearts, we send forth the light. Behold, in the heart of the Christ star, the leaders and peoples of the Americas, the soul of the Americas. May the light of the Christ star awaken the wisdom of the ancient Sun Brothers in the hearts and the minds of all the people of the Americas, to bring peace and healing to all of life. And now let us hold our beautiful planet in the healing light of the Christ star. We hold within this healing ray the soil, the waters of the earth, and the air, and all of nature, especially the human and animal kingdoms. We hold in the heart of the Christ star those leaders, particularly at this time, the future of our world, the decisions that are made, and that which must be honored within the heart of each one. May the light of the Christ star awaken the wisdom of the ancient Sun Brothers in the hearts and the minds of all the people of the Americas, to bring peace, healing, and brotherhood to all of life. Now let us hold within this great healing star anyone known to us personally who is in need of help or healing. Silently we name them and just see them perfect within the heart of this blazing star of Christ. And we thank you, Lord, for your presence and the blessing of your healing grace upon these, your family. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Good morning. Are you happy? Is that even a fair question as we enter a third year of a global pandemic? When White Eagle gave today's reading, of course, he was not speaking to a room full of people in our situation. So I ask, can we be happy? Or even, is it okay? Is it fair to be happy when so many others have been impacted? Is it even possible? I feel like, aside from the pandemic, I'm happy. Or I'm as happy as I can expect to be, given the constant news. Maybe a better question is, what is happiness? And do you have to know what it is or how to define it before you can have it? And how will you know when you get it? Does it mean being content, satisfied, joyful, exuberant, peaceful? Does it mean all the time, some of the time, or occasionally happy up until I hear the news? White Eagle doesn't define that for us. Instead, he tells us things we can do to find happiness. Learn to love simple things, the starry nights, the birds, the animals. He says it comes in work, in recreation, in human contacts, socially distanced, of course, and friendships. But he doesn't say what it is, does he? And why do you think that is? You know, don't you? If I asked each of you what happiness is, you would all give a different answer, an answer that comes from inside you, an answer generated by your heart, your soul, your spirit, and it is your happiness. Too often, we confuse someone else's happiness with our own. We think it's good enough to say, I'll have what she's having. But when we look at the how of being happy, we can see why that won't work, why someone else's happiness can't create the same for us. How can I attain it? According to White Eagle, look around you and reach upward. Look around you, meaning live in the now. Pay attention to what is going on around you and notice, recognize the gifts of Mother Nature and of God. It's not that the rabbit or the deer will bring you happiness. It's that stopping to smell the roses, so to speak, teaches you to be mindful of other things, of other people and their needs, of listening, not just hearing. It teaches us, if we are willing to learn, that we are part of a much greater process. And then reach upward, meaning aspire to heavenly conditions. What are heavenly conditions? That would be the coming of universal brotherhood, of goodwill that exudes from every heart towards our fellow man, our animal brethren, our Mother Earth. Live your life in service, in love for God and man. Aspire and reach. Don't just dream of attaining happiness. Set as your goals to live by right thought, right speech, and right action. You must do and say and think the right stuff to move you and mankind in general closer to those heavenly conditions to which White Eagle refers. Happiness won't be handed to you, even if you do win the lottery. White Eagle says you must go inside and find it. The way to happiness is in you. It is possible for every one of us to find it, to get there. The key is You don't get happiness by trying to find happiness. You get to that state by living your life in such a way that you create happiness. White Eagle also tells us that it helps on this path to be childlike, not to be confused with childish. Childlike things we all need to take us back to the heart of happiness. So reach upward, strive for goodness, and look within the keys to the way. Remember, we must recognize that this trip, as life itself, is a process. It's a journey, and we should enjoy the trip. It's not about there, it's about getting there. Here is an excerpt from a great little book, The Tao of Pooh. In the house at Pooh Corner, Christopher Robin asks Winnie the Pooh, "What do you like doing best in the world, Pooh?" "Well," said Pooh, "what I like best." And then he had to stop and think. Because although eating honey was a very good thing to do, there was a moment just before you began to eat it which was better than when you were. But he didn't know what it was called. The honey doesn't taste so good once it is being eaten. The goal doesn't mean so much once it is reached. The reward is not so rewarding once it has been given. It's really the process that's important. What could we call that moment before we begin to eat the honey? Some would call it anticipation, but we think it's more than that. We would call it awareness. It's when we become happy and realize it, if only for an instant. By enjoying the process, we can stretch out that wonderful time of awareness. Then we can have a lot of fun, just like Pooh. In other words, it's not about there, it's about getting there. When we take the time to enjoy our surroundings and appreciate being here, and as we develop an understanding of our place in God's family, in the evolution of brotherhood, we find happiness. It's not about it, it's about getting to it. Oh, and along the way, don't expect to have it to yourself. It has to be shared. White Eagle said, "Happiness comes in human contacts and in friendship. The process itself requires that others be involved in some way." So in your daily activities, interacting with others, look around you. Be aware of what is going on, how you can be of service. Stop and smell the roses and thank someone for putting them there. And aspire to the heavenly conditions of brotherhood and goodwill. Smile at a stranger who looks sad. Give encouragement to someone who needs it. Offer a kind word in a stressed or harried situation. Above all, we must keep our communication channel to God wide open at all times. Use it. Remember, that communication is two-way. Prayer is asking God to help us find the way of love, of service, of patience, of compassion. Meditation, or just plain quiet time, is listening for the answers, giving that still, small voice within us a chance to let us know that the answers are there. God blesses us all. He grants us happiness. It is ours for the finding, and the way to happiness is found within, not within our wallet, but in our heart, our soul, and in our spirit. When we recognize and utilize all these keys to happiness, we will not only be happy, we will be making those around us happy. And what a glorious power that is. How will I find happiness? In spite of obstacles like the pandemic, I will find it in the process. I will find it in the simple things. I will find it in service. I will find it in the sharing. I will find it doing things I enjoy. I will find it doing things in anticipation of the feeling I get when I finish. The feeling of comfort and inspiration, of happiness at being a part of one great company. May you find the happiness with which God has blessed you. As we move to our communion, Ken set me up perfectly this morning with that opening prayer. Communion is talking to God. So first, think of what you will communicate to God. It's best to be a bit prepared. And then we can all go together, each to our own talk to God place, some place you have been or perhaps dreamed of, where you can be away from earthly things, away from busy, away from noise and kerfuffle. Think of your mountains, your seashore, your garden, wherever it is. Let the sound of the bowl take you out of your earthly mind and transport you through your heart to that place you can see. Here you draw very close to the heart of God. In the mountain, in the lake, in the tree and flower. The flowers speak. The trees enfold in friendliness and motherliness. You are at that place where you have that inner feeling, that inner knowing of God, where you can communicate directly with God. All love. Empty your heart to Him. Give yourself to Him in humility, in gentleness, in love. Feel the love in return. Feel the warmth of God's love as He blesses you. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the restfulness. Be filled with sunlight. Enjoy nature. Lie upon Mother Earth and absorb the magnetism of the earth. Breathe in the air and glorify in it. Feel the trees enfold you as a mother, the great oak, the majestic cedar. Hear the nature spirits in the breeze, in the sound of the running water. Remember these feelings. Remember the feeling of love warming you, surrounding you. Let the bowl bring you back to your heart, to your center. You are whole. You are peace. You are love.